Most coaches I know started their coaching businesses while being employed. It makes sense. If you're going to start a business, you want to test the waters first and see how it goes before you make any drastic moves. I did the same thing in 2017 when I started my business, and in this video I will share a few tips and strategies that helped me run my coaching business while being employed full-time. Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alisa and I help qualified or soon to be qualified coaches build financially viable coaching businesses. If you're looking to start one yourself or you've recently done so, chances are you are still employed. If that's the case, there are a few things that you need to be aware of. So let's jump straight in and talk about how to run a coaching business while working a job at the same time. The first thing I advise you to do is to tell your employer about it. Talk to your line manager and ask about the policies they have in place when it comes to declarations of interest. A declaration of interest means providing information on all potential conflicts of interest you might have as an employee with regards to your recent work activities, in this case via coaching, that could clash with the interests of the company. Unless you work as a coach for a company that offers coaching services, you should be fine. In most cases, there will be no conflict of interest, but the company will appreciate the disclosure and you won't feel like you need to hide your activity as a coach from your employer and your colleagues. This is really important, especially if you're going to use a social media platform like LinkedIn to promote your business. If there is a conflict of interest, then you can decide together with your employer some rules and conditions that are fair for both of you when it comes to the coaching engagements you will enter. This could mean that you are not allowed to engage existing or former clients with the intention to sell them your services. And if you leave the company, you might need to sign a non-compete agreement for a certain period of time. Disclosing your activity and making a declaration of interest to your employer is not a step that I would skip. If you're serious about your coaching business and you want to grow it, you will need to start marketing it, and it's likely that your employer will find out eventually. It's better if they know from you rather than hear it from other sources and wonder, why is it that you've kept it a secret? The second tip I have for you is to register as self-employed with the tax authorities in your country, or to set up a limited company and open up a separate bank account for your business-related income and expenses. This is because it can become very confusing to use your personal bank account for business expenses and not see at a glance what is coming in and going out of your business. As a business owner, you need to think about financial reporting requirements at the end of the year, and keeping your personal and your business finances separate will make life a lot easier for you and for your bookkeeper if you work with one. If you want to know more about the finance side of things and what are some common money mistakes that you should avoid as a new business owner, I talk about them in this video. Okay, now that the legal and financial aspects are out of the way, it's time to talk about the logistics of how you are going to manage your workload and yourself as a coach who's also employed full-time. The reality is that it will take some time for you to adjust and settle into a routine and a schedule that works for you. So depending on your current restrictions, your preferences and those of your clients, you're going to have to make some adjustments to your days. In my case, I negotiated a working agreement with my employer that allowed me to start work at 7 or 7:30 in the morning and finish at 4 p.m. That gave me the flexibility to work with clients in the evening, and it worked well because the clients I was working with at the time also had full-time jobs. In your case, it might be that you'd rather coach in the morning and start working at your job later in the day. There was also a time when I would coach during my lunch break and I ate at my desk while working. This is not ideal and I didn't do it every day, but I had to come up with creative ways of accommodating some of the clients who couldn't attend evening sessions. This was happening in 2018 and a lot has changed since then. I had to negotiate my working patterns, but given what happened in 2020, flexibility is now something that more and more employers offer. So it's likely that you have even more leveraging power than I did. Don't be afraid to try and negotiate. If you're getting value from the video so far, I would appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you're inclined to leave a comment, that would make my day. It really helps to support the channel, and I thank you in advance if you do. The next tip I have for you is to be open about your working situation with your clients and let them know that you are still employed. If they checked your LinkedIn profile, they probably know that already anyway, but they will appreciate the transparency. I know I would. Be careful though how you convey this information. Even if your job is more important to you at this point, because presumably it is your main source of income, don't make it sound as if coaching is secondary on your list of priorities. Instead, show your clients how important coaching is to you by saying something along the lines of, I have rearranged my working week to accommodate coaching and my clients, and I have set aside specific times that are dedicated exclusively to it, or something like that. It sounds very different than saying, I can only do evening sessions because I work a job during the day. Can you sense the difference? Also, having dedicated times during the week reserved only for coaching means that you can implement my next tip, which is setting boundaries. Working a full-time job is demanding enough as it is. Having a coaching side business on top of it can quickly become overwhelming if you're not careful. I talked about my experience with burnout and overwhelm in a Medium article that I will link for you in the description box below. To avoid getting to that point, I suggest you set some very clear rules around your coaching work, when you will see clients, what you're willing to do and not to do, etc. If you don't yet have a scheduling tool, I recommend you get one. It will save you a lot of time and hassle, but it will also save you from saying, no, I can't do that day, sorry. I use MeetFox, which I will link below, but there are others on the market that are really good as well, so go and check them out. It might be tempting to see clients every day, but remember that you also need to dedicate time to the marketing, the selling, and other business development activities that are necessary to run a business. You might choose to do some of that during the weekend. I did so too, but be careful not to let it take over your life. Speaking of that, my next tip is to have a plan and put a strategy in place. How long do you intend to have a job and a business running in parallel? Do you plan to go part-time at some point, or even quit your job and go full-time on your business? What do you need in order for that to happen? A financial safety blanket, a decent pipeline, a long-term corporate contract? Whatever it is for you, make a plan now for how to get there. You are now in a temporary situation. In my view, having a full-time job and a side business can only last for a limited amount of time if you also want to have a life on the side. In the meantime, however, I hope these tips will make your working days and weeks more manageable. Good luck with everything, and if you need help, please get in touch. You will find my details in the description box below. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alisa, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.